It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Sometimes you create an expectation or a schedule that you think is going to work, and then in turn find out that it's not working at all. Or life gets really busy and your work projects start to fall behind, or maybe your business has completely taken over your life and the things at home have stacked up. You probably started out with a pretty clear intention, but then quickly got swept out by the current of all of the pieces. Or if we're being really real, maybe you're trying to maintain something that actually isn't working. Today, we're going to do a reset, okay? We're going to take back control and realign what feels completely out of whack. We're going to readjust expectations, ground back down into the truth of what's realistic, and put you back in the driver's seat of feeling in control of your life. If you've been thinking, I could use a breather and a reset, then this Powerback episode is for you. You know something? Sometimes life and business, I swear they have a committee somewhere where they meet up and they're like, oh, we're going to do all the things at the same time, especially after a period of like quiet stillness and maybe even nothingness. Does that ever happen to you where you're like, there's nothing, and then all of a sudden there's every freaking thing humanly possible? Yeah, that's been like the last 6 weeks-ish of my life. And while I'm very grateful, listen, a lot of really great things, a lot of anything is a lot. And it's usually these types of seasons that really challenge us, challenge our habits, they challenge our beliefs, they challenge the way that we're showing up, the way that we take care of ourselves, the expectations that we are creating and holding and carrying. And you know something, I think a lot of times in this situation, there would be a conversation around balance. That's not where I'm going today, okay? Because here's the real human truth. Sometimes in these high tides, when there's a lot of moving pieces, you're balancing a lot of things. And then if we want to throw in emotion on top of that, sometimes something is going to fall flat. I mean, it's just the way that things happen. Do we want it all in order? Sure. Do we want to be perfectly ahead? Absolutely. Is that how it always works? No. And so what I've learned is sometimes when things get kind of chaotic like that, I have an expectation that something might drop. Are there things that we can do and put in place to prevent that? Sure. Asking for help, delegating things, rescheduling stuff. There's a lot of things that we can do in that position to prevent things from dropping. But dropping doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, okay? Dropping doesn't mean that you're failing. Dropping doesn't mean that it's falling apart. It just means that something or someone else needed more of your time and attention. What if instead of immediately making this mean something bad about you, or immediately saying, oh, I really dropped the ball on this. Oh, I really failed this. We instead say, okay, something else needed my time and attention, and now I can come back to this. Sometimes truly in these situations, it's out of our hands. You know what I mean? Like it's just life moments. It's a season. It's a period of time where life got really busy or you had a lot of things happening at home and work wasn't as strong. Or you're starting a business or growing a business or launching something in your business. It's really just taken over and the things at home have piled up. These are seasons. These are moments where it really becomes a problem is if this is the new norm, if this is always a problem. And in that case, we probably need to readjust some things, right? Readjusting our expectations, how much you're taking on. Are we doing too many things? Are we overcommitting? Where do we need to say no, perhaps? That could be a whole conversation of its own. But where I want to take us today is actually just a layer deeper beyond this, because that stuff is bound to happen. Okay. If you're a human on this planet right now listening to this episode, that shit's going to happen eventually. But where we have a real opportunity to peel back a layer, to dig a little bit deeper, to take your power back, is to look at the areas of our life or our business or our schedule that's not working. But even though it's not working, you have set an expectation around the way that you're supposed to do this. You've created this rule, okay? You've created this expectation. This is not something that someone else gave you. This is not a system or something else that you have to follow. This is something that you have said, this is how I'm going to do this. And after doing it this way a couple of times, you start realizing like, hey, there's some friction here. This is harder to do than I expected. I don't really enjoy doing it this way, but damn it, I said I'm going to do it like this, and that's how I'm going to do it. And then all of your time and your energy goes into maintaining something that's not working. But you are hell-bent and determined to do it this way because you said you were going to do it that way one time. But in the meantime, you're making yourself miserable. And if you're not miserable, maybe it's just challenging. Maybe it's taking up more brain capacity. Maybe it's harder to do, which is taking you away from being able to do more things, which is causing more things to pile up, which is making you feel guilty about all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like we've got this ecosystem that's not working. Things are out of whack, and all because you're dancing around the initial decision of the certain way that you said you were going to do something. P.S. You made the rule. You get to change it. There's no shame or blame in saying, hey, I thought that was going to work. Turns out not so much. In fact, I have a tremendous amount of respect for women that say, you know what? I thought this was what I wanted. I don't want this anymore. I thought this is how I wanted to do something. I don't like it this way. And I found for myself that when I honor that, I make everything substantially easier for me, around me, and with the people that I get to work with. Here's a real life example of this. In Auralign, that's my mastermind for women in business. They're at a growth point, a pivot point. They're ready to do business their own way. They just need some help and guidance to do that. Every week in that group, I decided I was going to start offering a focus of the week. So this is a voice memo, usually like 4 to 6 minutes, where I'm guiding and teaching them something. This is a lesson to work on, something to shift on their business, something that we are going to put intentional focus so that we can create an aligned business. And when I added this in, my thought was, okay, I'm going to deliver this every Monday morning. Monday's the beginning of the week. That's when everyone's starting things. That feels like what I should do. Notice that should in there. I thought this is what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm really excited about delivering this coaching to the group. I was a little hesitant and had a little bit of resistance around the day of the week, but I went with it anyway. And every Monday came around and I found myself in this kind of oh shit moment where I wanted to deliver, but it was getting later in the day and then it was the end of the day. And after a couple of weeks, I was just like, what is happening with this? I love giving this content. I love guiding these women. Something is feeling sticky. And what I realized was I created an expectation around when I should deliver this. And I completely dismissed the fact that I don't do client work on Mondays. Okay. Monday is my internal day. That's my CEO day. That's when I write content. That's when I organize things. That's when I am working on my own business. I don't take external meetings. It's when I handle my own personal stuff, right? Like that's a me day. And so I was trying to integrate in client work into an internal day. And there was this ongoing weekly friction with it. And when I saw this, I couldn't unsee it. And it helped me to get realistic and really see what was true, and that this is not the right day for this. It's also not anyone else's rule that I have to deliver this on a Monday. That's something that I created. Nobody asked for that. Nobody demanded that. There's not some like expectation around it other than the one that I created. And so then I realigned it. I was like, okay, that's not working. What would work better? Tuesday mornings. Guess what? It's still the beginning of the week. If I want to deliver that beginning of the week, and it's still delivering the same value, but maybe even better because I'm doing it in a time frame that works better for me and my energy. I didn't make any big announcement. It wasn't a big hoopla. I just quietly and simply shifted to the focus of the week content to Tuesday mornings. And you know what happened? Nothing. Except the fact that it got easier for me to do this work. I'm more embodied in it. I feel more grounded in it. I'm in the right headspace. It's easier. And I think that the content has even more depth because I am in the right frame of mind. I had the right idea. I just had the wrong expectation of when I needed to deliver it. And the cool thing about being your own boss, if you have a business, is you make the rules, which means you get to change them. And so if you're feeling out of whack with something, if something feels like an uphill battle, if it always feels messy, if it feels like it's challenging you in a way that, not in a helpful, growthful way, but in a way that is really causing a lot of friction in your life, in your business, in your energy, and your time, then it's time to evaluate what's not working instead of maintaining what's not working. I'm going to give you 4 questions to kind of noodle on to help you really kind of evaluate what's not working instead of maintaining it. And you can use this, yes, if there's something that's not working, but not just in a singular thing, but in a process, in the way that you're delivering something, in a routine or a schedule. Like, you can really use this to evaluate anything that's feeling sticky, that's been kind of out of whack. You know what I mean by that? Like, it's just not quite right. You know you need this thing. There's something there, but the delivery, the way that it's happening, that's not working. So let's shift it. The first thing to get really honest about is, what expectation are you carrying that's outdated or not working anymore? What have you locked into or formed a belief around that says, I have to do it this way? What is that expectation? What is that rooted in? Where did that come from? Why does that exist in your world? An example that I know that you've seen a million times online is when we talk about working out or morning routines, and how to have a healthy lifestyle, you have to get up at 5 a.m. and you have to do this kind of workout, and you have to have this kind of beverage, and you have to read this many books every year. And like, there's this expectation, right? That to be healthy and to be happy, this is how you have to do your morning routine. That's an external expectation. That is information that you've seen, that you've absorbed, that you've made yours. But if you're anything like me, 5 o'clock in the morning, the only thing that I want to be doing is sleeping. So that type of routine, that's not outdated for me. That just does not work. And trying to force yourself to do something to work when it's innately against your entire system, your entire makeup, it's never going to work the way that you want it to. So think about that thing in your life right now that feels out of whack. What expectation are you carrying around it? What have you seen from someone else? What feels outdated? What is just simply not working, whether it's never worked or it's something has shifted? Let's also acknowledge that, like, things change. Maybe it worked before and now you've outgrown it, or circumstances in your life have shifted and now that's no longer the thing. That's a real possibility. The second part of this is, what is the actual truth and what's more realistic? My truth around a 5 a.m. routine is that that's not my truth. My truth is, I don't operate well at that time of the day. I feel sluggish. I get lightheaded. I'm nauseated. I don't like that. What's more realistic? Working out at the end of the day. I know that doesn't work for a lot of people. But for me, and the way my body works and the way my brain is, I love that transition between the end of my workday and the beginning of my evening time at home. So what is the truth around this thing that feels out of whack? What is the honest truth? If you just take all the layers off and you're really honest with yourself, what's the reality? What is the honest thing that you need to tell yourself? Because this is the permission. You don't need permission, but sometimes you have to give it to yourself or see it from a new perspective to be able to say, okay, I can see what's happening here. I've been trying to force myself to do something a certain way that's not designed for me. And then let's back it up with, okay, so then what is more realistic? What's going to help this stick? What's going to make this easier or more enjoyable? With my Auralign focus example, what was more realistic was to shift it to another day. Like, we make things incredibly complicated, super big, like earth shattering. Like, everyone in the group is going to have a meltdown because I'm going to shift it a day. Nobody gave 2 shits. In fact, half of them didn't even notice that I shifted the day. They're just thankful that I'm in there giving them the support that they're looking for. The focus of the week is an added bonus. They're getting the support they need on our live group coaching calls, in the Telegram space in between our calls where I'm answering their questions and reviewing their materials. If you want to take this a step further, there was a layered expectation that I had created where I had to give more for it to seem more valuable. Meanwhile, every single female business owner that has joined Auralign has had the breakthrough that she was craving. They've gotten the clarity that they were looking for. They've signed on new clients. They've increased their revenue. They've simplified their processes. They're not doing things alone anymore. See where I'm going with this? That expectation piece, that's a heavy one because it drives the rest of this. The last piece here, this is your gutsy move. What are you going to do instead? What do you want to do? What makes the most sense for you? What is the shift that you want to make? This is where you're realigning. My realignment in Auralign is delivering on Tuesdays. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, it literally got to be that simple. When I'm talking about working out, I go to the gym at 3:00 in the afternoon. When I honored what worked best for me, it all got easier. It's more sustainable. I've been going to the gym for well over a year and a half now. And I'm able to do that consistently because I'm working with my body and my system and my schedule instead of against it. Delivering content and coaching on Tuesday mornings is sustainable. It's easier. It comes more naturally to me, and I'm staying on top of it. That's what honoring yourself and your system and the way that you work and what you actually need, that's what that gives you. It makes things easier. The follow through is easier. It's more sustainable. It's more enjoyable. It adds value to your life instead of adding stress. Instead of maintaining something, you're just simply doing what you do. And then that head junk goes away and you stop beating yourself up and things just start working better, right? It's a domino effect in the right direction. The most important piece here is to just simply acknowledge when something feels out of whack, right? When you just simply notice, hey, this ain't working. I don't like how this feels. I feel like there's a lot of tension with this. I've got a lot of resistance, but not because I don't want it. It's just, there's always friction with it. Kind of like walking and you step in some gum and then you continue to walk. And like every time you lift up your heel, there's that like, it like sticks to the concrete. That you want to keep walking, but you feel that friction underneath of your feet. Well, guess what? This exercise, what I just walked you through today, is your opportunity to change your shoes or to go find a bench and clean off your shoe and continue on your path. You've got to be willing to stop long enough to deal with it though, because nobody's going to come change it for you. But when you give yourself this, I'm telling you, it makes everything that much easier and substantially more enjoyable. We're not maintaining what's not working anymore. We're realigning with your needs and doing that instead. If you're a woman in business and you are at a point where you're like, I need some eyes, I need a sounding board, I need somewhere to bounce ideas around, help me see what I can't see, because you know that you're made for more. You know that you're ready for that next level, and maybe you even feel like you're just on the cusp of it. Auralign is where we simplify the shit that feels complicated, we clarify what feels out of focus, and I guide you as you make the gutsy moves to go get the level of success you know you're ready for. You can grab all the details, or if you're like, fuck yes, where do I sign up? You can go to lauraora.com/mastermind and get started today. If you've got a few questions, come send me a DM. My handle is @thatlauraora across all the platforms. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.